Every morning, millions of people reach for a hot cup of energy. It's part ritual, part life support, a jumpstart for the brain, the bowels, or both. One sip and your eyelids lift, your pulse quickens, and suddenly, the day feels possible. But some of us want the taste without the jitters, or the heart palpitations, or the 2 a.m. existential spiral. So we drink decaf. But that raises a question. How do you take the caffeine out of a coffee bean? Or a tea leaf for that matter? It's not like you can just shake it off like salt. The answer involves solvents, gas, steam, a little controversy, and a whole lot of chemistry. Oh, and surprise, even decaf isn't 100% caffeine free. So let's dig in. Caffeine is nature's built-in bug repellent. It's a bitter chemical that some plants, like coffee, tea, and cacao, produce to fend off insects and give themselves a survival edge. But in humans, it blocks a neurotransmitter called adenosine, the one that makes you feel sleepy. So instead of winding down, your brain stays alert. Your heart beats faster, your dopamine ticks up, and suddenly, that Monday morning doesn't feel quite so Monday-ish. Caffeine isn't floating loose inside a coffee bean. It's embedded deep in the structure, locked in with all the oils and flavor compounds. So to remove it, you can't just rinse the beans. You've got to dissolve it out without ruining everything else. So wait, is caffeine a drug? Technically, yes. It's a psychoactive stimulant, just like nicotine or amphetamines, but milder and legal. And it's one of the most widely consumed drugs on Earth. It creates tolerance over time, meaning your brain adapts and you need more to feel the same effect. It can cause withdrawal, headaches, fatigue, irritability, if you quit suddenly. And for some people, it's genuinely addictive. That's part of what makes decaf appealing. It lets people scale back without quitting entirely. In 1905, a German coffee merchant named Ludwig Roselius got a shipment of green coffee beans that had been accidentally soaked in seawater. At first, he naturally assumed they were ruined, but out of curiosity, he roasted and brewed them. The flavor was still there, but the caffeine buzz was gone. That made him wonder, was it the salt water? The heat? Could caffeine actually be removed on purpose? Roselius started experimenting. He steamed the beans and applied benzene, a common industrial solvent, to extract the caffeine. That combo worked. He had created the first commercially viable decaffeination method. And while benzene is now banned for being carcinogenic, Roselius' process proved something huge. You could keep the flavor and ditch the buzz. And people already knew what caffeine was. Scientists had actually isolated it from coffee back in the early 1800s. But this was the first time anyone had figured out how to undo it. Today, most decaf coffee is made using one of four main methods: solvent-based, Swiss water process, CO2 process, and triglyceride process. Solvent-based, methylene chloride or ethyl acetate. One of the earliest and still most common ways to strip out caffeine is the solvent method. Here's how it works. Beans are first steamed to open up their pores, then rinsed with a solvent that bonds specifically to caffeine molecules. The two most common solvents are methylene chloride and ethyl acetate. Methylene chloride is synthetic. Ethyl acetate occurs naturally in fruits. After the solvent has latched onto the caffeine and pulled it out, the beans are steamed again to remove any residue. And no, you're not drinking chemicals with your latte. The FDA has strict limits, and the process leaves only trace amounts, if any. This method is efficient, cost-effective, and it's the reason most grocery store decaf is made this way. Swiss water process, a favorite among specialty coffee brands. This method uses only water, temperature, and time, no chemicals. It's much more expensive and slower, but entirely chemical-free and often certified organic. It's especially popular in North America, where shoppers are more ingredient conscious. CO2 process uses supercritical carbon dioxide to pull caffeine from the beans with laser-like precision. It's clean and effective, but also expensive, so it's more common in Europe, premium coffees, and industrial tea processing. Triglyceride process, the least known method. Beans are soaked in coffee oils that draw out caffeine while preserving flavor. It's used in large-scale operations, but rarely advertised. So how do you know which one your coffee uses? If the label says Swiss water or CO2 process, they want you to know. Otherwise, it's probably solvent-based, which is still FDA approved and safe, but less of a marketing flex. Like learning the weird science behind everyday things? Click that subscribe button. It's chemical-free and you can quit anytime. Decaffeinating tea is even trickier. Tea leaves are more delicate than coffee beans, and their flavor can get lost fast. Most decaf tea uses ethyl acetate or CO2, just like coffee, but with gentler handling. Some teas, like white or green tea, lose more flavor in the process, which is why a lot of tea lovers just go herbal instead. Chamomile, rooibos, peppermint, naturally caffeine-free, no decaf required. Modern decaf is safe, despite what you may have heard. Yes, some methods use chemicals like methylene chloride, but the amount left in your cup is minuscule, far below FDA limits. You'd have to drink hundreds of cups a day to even come close to a health concern. That said, if you're still skittish about solvents, go for the Swiss water process or CO2 decaf. Both are 100% chemical-free. You can't eyeball caffeine content, so how do we know what's left? Most producers use a technique called high-performance liquid chromatography, or HPLC for short. It separates the compounds in a liquid sample and tells you exactly how much caffeine is present. It's precise, repeatable, and used by everyone, from the FDA to big beverage companies. That's how we know when a batch passes the 97% caffeine removed test. Here's the twist. Decaf isn't zero caffeine. It just has to be 97% caffeine-free. A regular cup of coffee has around 100 milligrams of caffeine. A decaf, anywhere from 2 to 7 milligrams, depending on how it's brewed. That may not sound like much, but if you drink multiple cups or you're super sensitive, you might still feel a little buzz, especially if you're drinking it late in the day. So why not just drink less coffee? Well, coffee isn't just caffeine. It's a ritual for many, a comfort, a social cue. Some people love the taste, they just don't want to vibrate through the ceiling. And with better decaf tech, more people are making the switch. You'll see it on menus now. Half calf, low calf, Swiss water, CO2 brew. It's not a downgrade, it's just a different kind of buzz. So the next time someone makes fun of your decaf, tell them this. It's not fake coffee. It's coffee that's been steam blasted, solvent bathed, or CO2 scrubbed, all so you can sleep tonight. Because sometimes science means you get the taste without the twitch. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this stroll through history, give us a like and subscribe for more curiosity-driven videos every other week.